This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Everybody in this city clearly sees that the status quo isn't working.
That is Mayor Ted Wheeler on the city's growing homeless crisis, right after he and City Council approved his recent plan to address the issue. We have details on the new amendments to the mayor's plan coming up.
And there is an opportunity for low-income families to help their kids succeed before they start kindergarten. And there's still space to sign up. Coming up at 5:15, a look into PPS's Head Start program.
And this is a live look at our radar this morning in the Weather Center. The storm that's coming in today, definitely one of our biggest stories of the morning. And we have our big man on campus here to join us now, talking about this winter-fall storm. Yeah. I call it a winter storm, but it is the fall season, Rod.
Yeah, but it's kind of, as in the weather world, this is the rainy season. We're kind of the rainy winter season, November into March. We all kind of roll it into one. And this will be one of the bigger storm events in terms of certainly rain and maybe even wind that we see this winter, one of them. So we just saw the radar. This is the wider look. I do want to point out, good morning Baker City, good morning Meacham. Blues down into Baker City and outside of Burns, winter storm warnings are up. I think they expired 9 o'clock this morning. The point is this was overnight snow. You folks will be warming up during the day and you'll be getting into rain. But some of you could be looking at 2, 3, 4 inches of snow even at some of the lower elevations. Here on the west side, of course, it's all rain and the snow level today will be as high as 8,000 feet, which means it'll be just as rainy at Timberline Lodge, even more so actually, than it will be down here. This is the watch warning map from the National Weather Service. This white area is the snow out east that expires mid-morning. We have wind warnings for the PM hours from the Dalles out into the Columbia Basin, the Cascades, the Coast Range, where winds could be gusting to 55 today, and the wind advisory from Eugene up into Clark County for mainly 40-mile-per-hour gusts, but there could be a spot late afternoon or evening where we have some localized gusts to 50. And if we get 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts, that will produce localized power outages. It always does. Right now we're at 50. We'll be in the 50s all day. It still looks like the absolute heaviest rain rates will be somewhere between 4 o'clock this afternoon and about 8 or 9 this evening. We do expect there to be some localized high water issues later today as well. Back to you.
Okay, thanks, Rod. We begin this morning with Portland City Council approving 5 new resolutions aimed at combating homelessness. They're part of Mayor Ted Wheeler's recent plan to tackle the homeless crisis in Portland.
It is a 5-part plan. It includes putting a ban on unsanctioned homeless camps in the city. It includes focusing on more affordable housing, and it also calls to create multiple campsites, each of those housing 250 people. KGW's Catherine Cook was there for yesterday's vote and learned more about some last-minute changes.
I vote aye. The resolution is adopted. I want to thank my colleagues. This was not an easy lift.
It was about as heavy a lift as City Council has taken up in recent years, and it was fast-tracked. On Thursday, council members approved all 5 resolutions addressing Portland's homeless crisis. Resolutions penned by Mayor Ted Wheeler and shared with the public less than 2 weeks ago.
And the reason I thought they were all going to pass was because everybody in this city clearly sees that the status quo isn't working.
Last week, after hearing 7 hours of public testimony on the plan, council members proposed some amendments. Here are some that stuck. Commissioner Carmen Rubio proposed that instead of 3 massive camps of up to 500 people, the city should support 6 camps of up to 250 people each. Commissioner Joanne Hardesty proposed amendments ensuring care for people with disabilities and that the city would establish the camps all across Portland.
My intent is to make sure that we don't put all these camps in poor people neighborhoods. To be quite blunt, I want to make sure that these camps are shared by all Portlanders.
While those amendments stuck, ultimately Hardesty was the only one to vote no on the resolution to create the temporary mass encampments. Most who shared testimony on Thursday opposed it as well.
As a community health outreach worker, I fear the mass camping sites will promote a spread of infectious diseases like hepatitis C, which Oregon already has some of the highest rates of in the country.
I am confident that we are capable of setting up encampments that will have access to resources. And by the way, I would just compare that to the status quo, where there's a lot of people living in very clearly dangerous and squalid conditions.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
So the mayor's plan was approved, but he still needs to answer some questions about the plan, like what's the timeline for relocating campers and how much will the plan cost? Mayor Ted Wheeler said he'll release a bottom line number here soon, along with a plan for funding.
And here's some other headlines we're following for you this morning. A Washington judge has temporarily blocked Albertsons' proposed merger with grocery giant Kroger. As part of that merger, Albertsons was supposed to pay out $4 billion to investors. But that huge payment could impact the chain's ability to compete during the several years it would take to complete that merger. So now the court needs to figure out if that payment would violate antitrust laws. And there are new safety features along a dangerous stretch of road in southeast Portland. There are now reflective markings on the ground along 3 miles of southeast Foster from 102nd Avenue to Jenny Road. The goal is to help drivers see better in dark and wet conditions. Data show there were 31 crashes on that stretch within 4 years, partially blamed on low light or weather conditions. 3 people died and 5 were seriously hurt. Also, in a unanimous vote this week, the Clark County Council in Washington made clear it opposes tolls along I-5 and I-205. Right now, ODOT is looking at tolling parts of both freeways in the Portland area. The council says a toll may be necessary for the beginning of construction projects, but there should be an end date. Council members are concerned about how tolls will impact people in Clark County who commute to Oregon.
Well, the Portland Bureau of Transportation is looking for feedback before making outdoor seating for restaurants a permanent fixture in the city. Some restaurant owners say those outdoor seating areas have saved their businesses in the last few years, but some community members are concerned about safety. Here's KGW's Brian Clerkley.
We wouldn't be here without this structure. We would have closed last year without this outdoor seating. And so all summer long, it helped pay for itself.
Eli Johnson owns several restaurants, including Dot's Cafe on Southeast Clinton Street. He says his outdoor seating structure is in a closed-down street in a very walkable neighborhood, which makes it safe. He says he's going to continue to keep his outdoor seating as long as he can, because it adds a lot of extra seating, and some of his customers are still worried about COVID.
This cost us about $20,000 to build. Lumber prices went through the roof during the pandemic. Labor prices have gone through the roof.
Dylan Rivera with the Portland Bureau of Transportation says fewer restaurants are applying for the healthy business permits these days. He says there's 350 permits as of now, which is half the amount from a year ago.
That a lot of businesses feel like they're ready to go back to normal.
Rivera says there were some complaints from residents about these structures.
When they're walking in the neighborhood, it's hard for passing car traffic to see them, hard for them to see around some of these installations.
He says there are rules and regulations on where these structures can be.
Proximity to a stop sign is a substantial issue. Making sure we have clearance and vision clearance at stop signs, no more than 6 feet tall, within 40 feet of a stop sign.
PBOT will be looking at the safety of the structures and coming up with new guidance in the future.
PBOT's been very fair in just letting everybody throw these up and then trying to change the rules to accommodate the feedback they get from the neighbors, the neighborhood associations, other businesses. But there's a lot to figure out.
Yeah, a lot of people enjoy that outdoor dining, and of course, outdoors, quite rainy today.
Yeah, what are we seeing there, guys?
A little radar activity, Rodney.
A little rain.
All right, we just upped the rain chance today to 100%. Look at us being on top of things.
Rodney, I know that you said earlier that the storm today could be one of the most severe when it comes to wind and rain that we're going to see in the next few months.
Yeah, I mean, we get a handful of big events where you're looking at inches of rain over a day or two throughout the winter season. That's about it. This will be one of those events. So I do want to point out, as you step outdoors, the wind is already noticeable. South winds gusting at 28 in Aurora, 21 in Hillsborough, 24 out at PDX. 29 up in Astoria. It's about the same from the coast to the valley, 15 to 30 mile per hour winds as you start your day. Also winds gusting southwest to 29 in Bend. So everybody will get noticeable winds today. And at times, I mean, if we get winds 45 to 50 at some point later today, which we may, that almost always produces some downed tree limbs that lead to power outages. So, put that thinking cap on today. If you're going to be without power, maybe for a couple of hours, need to know where your flashlights are, candles, whatever you use, that type of thing. All right, atmospheric river flow coming right into us. This event is now underway. It will end overnight tonight. The back cold front comes in about 2 o'clock in the morning tonight. Overnight, and that will shut off the steady rain and end the threat of any high wind. We do have the snow out east. That's going to turn into rain mid-morning, and we have all the rain here on the west side that, again, won't let up today. It'll just be steady. Temperatures 50 right now, will be going up all the way to midnight. I mean, we could be 60 degrees at midnight tonight as this is a push of warm, wet air that just keeps surging in throughout the day. Here's the crazy watch warning map. The white color will go away mid-morning. That's the snow out east that will turn to rain. But the red, including the basin for this afternoon into tonight, the Cascades, and the Coast Range during the day today are high wind warnings for potential 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts, generally speaking. And remember, it can be dangerous driving in the mountains on these windy days. We've had fatal accidents or trees coming down on these types of days on the highways in the Cascades and the Coast Range. So it's a good day to put off traveling if you don't have to go anywhere. The wind advisory for the valley up through 1 o'clock this morning for mainly 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts. But again, this evening, there could be a spot where we get some 50 mile per hour gusts. Model number 1, let's just look at Portland. 1.66 inches of rain total today into tonight. Model number 2 doubles that, 3.08. We'll probably be in the middle somewhere. I still think we get 2 inches of rain today, maybe more than that. It's scattered showers tomorrow. Rain picks up for a pretty rainy day overall Sunday. By the way, Saturday night, Sunday, snow levels go back down to 2,000 feet. There could be 20 inches of snow at Timberline. There could be a foot of snow Sunday morning or during the day Sunday when it all winds down at Government Camp. That's a busy forecast.
Wow, so much to talk about. Okay, thanks, Rod.